Guardians of the Galaxy. Okay? So Guardians of the Galaxy, I didn't know who they were, right? I think like a lot of people didn't know who they were. And they dropped into the MCU. No idea, again, who they are. I fall in love with Guardians of the Galaxy, 100%. The first movie I absolutely love. The second movie is good. It's not as good as the first, in my opinion. But I do love Guardians of the Galaxy. So when I heard they were making a Guardians of the Galaxy video game, I was a little conflicted because I was afraid we were going to run into the same Avengers type situation where, yeah, they don't look like them exactly, but they are kind of them, and the gameplay is a little weird. I'm going to show you guys a little reveal trailer here so you can get an idea of what this game looks like, right? So I watched this video and I was like, I don't know. But today, previews came out for it. So some lucky people, not me, got to play the game early, right? And they talked about their impressions. So we're going to go over those today and kind of see what the vibes are out there in the internet and see what they're thinking about Guardians of the Galaxy game. So first one is Simon Cardy at IGN. He says, our first hands-on with Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy showed off its complex but highly enjoyable combat. There's many, many layers to the combat system, so bear with me, is what he says. And I kind of cut it up for you guys. But closest analog that he can find is the Final Fantasy VII Remake. And what he's trying to say there is that you play as Peter Quill, right? That's who you play as. You don't jump around the Guardians, as far as I know. You play as Peter Quill. But during the battles and whatnot, you're actually controlling other characters by telling them what to do. So you'll be like, hey, Drax, go do this move. Gamora, do this move. And it is the traditional Guardians of the Galaxy of the movies. Drax, Quill, Gamora, Rocket, and Groot. And Big Groot, by the way. So that's who's out there. There's no character swapping, but you are controlling everything. You're leading the charge as Peter Quill. And adding further to this, he says, if you do enough damage consistently, you'll build up the momentum meter, which then will, when full, you can do a huddle up, which it sounds pretty awesome. You bring the team together, and this unique mechanic not only grants your thumb a few minutes of respite, but also grants stat buffs to either the full team or just Star-Lord, depending on if you select the optimal dialogue option. So in this game, you actually get to make decisions when you're talking to people. You can either do this or do that, and that's really cool to me. I love being able to give that dynamic and have different situations maybe on different playthroughs. Very cool. Like you talk to someone, you say, hey, I did this. Maybe they did something else. But this huddle up mechanic is awesome because you want to get the vibes of the battle that's going on. So you want to make sure you pick the right thing so that the full team may get the full power up and then they can go berserk and use all their moves and whatnot. And one more thing to point out that he talks about is the soundtrack. So if you've seen the movies, you know the soundtrack is literally a character in the movie, both movies. And it sounds like it is just as important in the game. Obviously, I'm not playing the audio, but apparently it's got amazing random 80s hits, just like the movies, and get good vibes going, especially in the reveal trailer here. If you want to go watch it, I've got it linked in the description. You get the good vibes of that Guardians of the Galaxy pump-up music, and apparently that's a part of the huddle up as well. So that sounds really exciting to me. I got to say, I'm happy to hear that people are pretty pumped about the game after playing it. And because, like I said, I was kind of torn, and the trailers really haven't sold me on it. But I'm very happy to hear that Simon liked it. He says, ultimately, he came away far more excited to play Guardians of the Galaxy than he had been prior to the time with it. So, huge win on the preview side of things for them. And I don't know, it's getting me pretty pumped, too. I got two more reviews just quickly I wanted to point out. So Jess Condit at Engadget says Guardians of the Galaxy is already better than the Avengers game. She has a whole review. Go check it out, or preview. But I wanted to pull that quote out because I think that's a somewhat fair comparison. Now, this game is completely different in terms of gameplay. It's very single-player based. You play as Star-Lord. You're not jumping around characters. It's different. However, it's a Marvel property that we know and love that's being transitioned into a game, and it doesn't look like the people we know, and maybe it doesn't sometimes feel like them. So it's got a lot to sell us on, right? And the fact that she's saying Guardians of the Galaxy is already better than the Avengers game, I think means a lot because, first of all, I love the Avengers game. I'm having a lot of fun with it still. But a lot of people out there have kind of they've kind of stopped playing it, to be honest. So the fact that it's better, that's great. Then the last one I wanted to call out was old Greg Miller at Kinda Funny Games. Kinda Funny. He says, played an hour and a half of it, and he's saying he'd give it about a 7 or an 8 out of 10 right now. That's his feeling, if just from where he stands. And he thinks it's actually better playing it than what the trailers have shown. And the game could be even better with more context. But the way he summed it up was he likes the game, but he hasn't really thought about it since the preview. He'd be excited to get the code, but he's not going to be pressing Square Enix for the code, which I think is a really cool sum up of the game, that it's okay to be excited for things, but you don't have to just be so pumped up and out of control or, oh, I hate that thing, right? I think it's a perfect example of that. So that's the Guardians of the Galaxy game. Do you guys know anything about this? Have you heard about it? Are you going to play it? Are you going to get it? Let me know in the comments because I'm really excited to hear from you guys. Okay. Moving.